Welcome to Level Up Conversations, where we take conversations to the next level. I'm your host, Shane Simmons, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about favorite games of last year. So, I have Jimmy Radcliffe here, director, and I have Lucas Furtado, our CFO, guy who's in charge of all the funds.
The vast amount of money that we have for this show.
Money.
I determine whether or not it'll be in the budget.
It
usually isn't, but you know, I'm here to confirm that.
Right.
Alright, so it's been a while since we had a show, right, during February.
It's been several months. We apologize for that, but
This is like more than that.
life happened.
Jimmy got an adult job.
I got an adult job, I got engaged, and yeah, I don't have a whole lot of free time unless it's the weekend when you don't have free time because you're in that retail life.
Yeah, that retail life. Yep.
Yeah,
all right.
good.
No, that's our
pause.
Pregnant pause. So, I watch a lot of Podcast Beyond. It's probably one of my favorite podcasts, and they'll always do like a pregnant pause, just so that way if anyone's like listening to the audio only version, you have to check and see, like, oh, did it stop? Why did it stop?
Well, that's kind of
I think it's really funny because it reminds me of Archer, like when. Like you call, like leaving a message.
Yeah.
No. The voicemail thing. Like, hey, what's going on? Why are you calling me? Leave a long message and then just. That's nice. Anyways, that was a tangent. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about what we think was the most fun game of 2014, our most played game of 2014, our best game of 2014, and then just like an honorable mention, a game that we feel should have got more recognition than it actually did, or was underplayed, or we just had a blast with and doesn't fit in any of these categories. Now, picking these categories, I feel like it was well-rounded, you know, because like just a best overall game. I mean, there's games that are great but weren't the best game that came out last year, right? And there's games that were super fun but by no means were the best. So that's why I wanted to throw in like a range of categories. Definitely let us know what you guys think, because I mean that just makes the conversation that much more interesting.
We're just three dudes.
Just three dudes. Yep. All right. So let's start with. We'll finish with best of. No, we'll finish with honorable mention. So we'll start with most fun. So it was the most fun game you played this year. And Jimmy, we'll start with you.
Thanks for putting me on the spot.
No problem.
I do have a confession to make. I haven't played a whole lot of games this year. I've been a bad gamer. Still don't have that Xbox One. I still don't have that PS4. I got my iPhone and my iPad. So the majority of my games are going to be that. But
So you're an embarrassment, is what you're saying.
I'm just a different type of gamer. we're getting a broad conversation brought up here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's all right. What was your most fun game?
I think my most fun game would have to be Mario Kart.
Mario Kart? Okay.
I did play that one because I was here.
Mm-hmm.
And
You came over.
we got video of that.
We did a Let's Play. There's
actually
proof.
streamed that one.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
That was a lot of fun. That reminded me a lot of being a kid and playing that game.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. I would love to play it more. But again, I don't have any of those consoles, so I can't.
Come over.
I should. I should come over,
You
get drunk, and play
life.
video games.
Your real life.
That's the life. Me and Lucas were talking earlier about the adult life. He was. What were you eating?
Oh, earlier today I had made some bacon, and then I decided ice cream sounded good.
So as the bacon's cooking, he's in here eating a thing of ice cream. It's like adult life. I was like, really, bro? That's about breakfast. He's like, you can't say. The other day, you were eating a cupcake and had a beer for dinner, and I was like, all right, that's right. I had a beer and cupcake for dinner.
Yeah.
Hashtag adult life.
It's liberating, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
Anyways,
most fun Mario Kart?
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't have a whole lot else to say about it because that was months and months ago that I played it. But it was a shit ton of fun.
I feel like anytime there's a category of most fun game, a Nintendo game has to be brought up.
Party games are great for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, Lucas, most fun game.
That would be Smash Bros. Can I lump together the 3DS and the Wii U one?
Yeah, which one did you like more?
The Wii U one.
Okay.
But I really like the 3DS one, just not for the game itself, but the fact that it came out on the system. It was really good. Like, it was really well made, and it was kind of like made for the system. Like, you can pick up and play a match or two for like 2 minutes, and that's what you do when you play for 8 hours, is just a ton of 2-minute matches.
Yeah.
5 minute, whatever it is.
I didn't like the 3DS one that much. Like, when I played it, I felt like I was part of a marketing scheme. I was like, you guys totally made sure to release this beforehand, because if they release side by side, you're not selling these versions. Because most of the people that have a Wii U, I would think, also have a 3DS, because a ton of people have 3DSs, right? So if you release it at the same time, everyone's going to prefer the Wii U version. 90% of people. If you release the 3DS one early, to where my only way to get the new Smash is to play it on 3DS, genius.
Yes, that was very smart of them. I imagine that was the reason behind it.
Yeah, I would think.
I ain't mad. It makes sense, and it got us hyped for the game.
Yeah.
A game, not a demo. I think I would still pick it up even if it came out at the same time, just because that allows me to play the game when I'm not at home, so I can bring it with me at work or when I go out anywhere. So I just kind of continue playing it in that sense. I probably wouldn't get it on launch at the same time because I had a lot of money, but I would. But I would definitely say both of them together, because they're the same game. Essentially, one's for a console, one's for a thing.
Yeah, it really bugs me when people were like, "Oh, these are completely different games," like, and I'm like, "No,
You got a few different modes.
Yeah, because the levels are different, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, there's completely different levels on different ones." I was like, by choice, you could have had the same levels on the same thing. Like, the 3DS is the least powerful of the two, so you don't get the 8-player Smash, and they have a different style of campaign. I would have loved to see the 3DS, the Smash Run, that was what it's called, right?
Don't look at me.
Smash Run's what came on the 3DS.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that on the Wii U. And I was really disappointed by that party game that they had for Smash.
Maybe it'll be DLC.
Probably not. Nintendo's not big on DLC. Mewtwo's coming though. The next couple within the next couple weeks, I would assume, because they said early 2015 that you would get Mewtwo, and he's one of my favorites, so I'm really excited. I play Mewtwo like I play Sonic. Like, I'm not great with him. I'm good with him, but I just really enjoy him. He's really fun.
Alright.
But anyway, and then I'll just throw in that, like, the 8-player Smash I absolutely love. Like, that's a core reason why I play the game. I'm not competitive, so I don't really care about doing 1v1s, either against people, especially against people, or against the AI, so I always try and do either free-for-alls or 2v2s. And so if we actually can get 8 players on the map at the same time, that's amazingly fun to me.
Yeah.
That whole, like, getting lost in the scuffle or there's too much going on, that doesn't faze me at all. I love that.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason why I picked it, was because that 8-player Smash is just so fun to me.
Oh, sure. Mine was probably a game that I streamed more than I've streamed any game. It was Rogue Legacy. That was really, really freaking fun. So
I heard a lot of really good things about that game.
I loved that game. Like, I got it mainly. It's a funny story. So PlayStation is running a deal where there was like 4 games, and if you got 2 of them, you get like $3 off, and you get 3 of them, you get $6 off, and you get all 4, you get $12 off. That's hard, but I was like, sale, yeah, I got it. And there are 2 that I was interested in were Rogue Legacy and Counter Spy. I was actually more interested in Counter Spy. I was like, oh.
I've also heard good things about that game.
It was good.
Pretty fun.
I was like, oh, this looks cool. I'll get this, and I'll get Rogue Legacy with it. Well, Rogue Legacy came out first, so I was playing that, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Yep.
I can't stop playing this game. And it was cross-buy and cross-save, so that meant I could play my PS4 while I was at home, and then when I would be at work, I could pick it up on my Vita, and I would connect to Wi-Fi and hit start, and it would be like, hey, there's newer content. Did you want to save? Did you want to pick up from that content? And I was like, yes. And I was like, all right, here's where you were on the PS4, and like right where I left off.
Nice.
The really big thing that hooked me is, so it's a roguelike, right? So you die and you start all the way over.
Right.
Kind of. Because it's also has an RPG element to it. Where like, so when you die, you then pick up and go through the dungeon as one of your kids who has a trait, which could be like a mental disorder, or like they're super strong, or some like attribute to them, and you get to pick from 3 different people that are all different classes that then carry you overarching stats that you, as you go through the dungeon, you get so much money, and then when you die, you can then use that money to buy upgrades to then use the next time you go through. It's complicated, and it took me a while to get my head around it, but it was really cool. And so I don't like roguelikes very much because I don't like working really hard towards something and then just losing it all. Like, I can't get in the Binding of Isaac because of that. I really want to, but I can't because I'm like, oh, and I die. But yeah, so it was random, but it wasn't because the dungeon was always below you, the forest was always over there, and the tower was always up there. Like, it was just really interesting, and I felt like it was a really good take on a roguelike. And it just felt like a natural progression to that type of game. Like, they were able to combine it with other type of games, still keep that difficulty of, this platforming that's very unforgiving, that you do start all the way back over.
Right.
But you're now better when you're going back through it. So what I just did actually means something for the next time. So I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun.
Nice.
All right, what's the next category? Most played. So Lucas, we'll let you start out with this one.
Destiny. A lot of that. I mean, I would have played it anyway. I love Halo a lot, and so I would have got it. I would not have played it anywhere near the amount that I did if I didn't have him and all of his homies to play with. Because if that wasn't the case, I would have played it. I would have got through it. I would have come back to it occasionally for whatever, but I wouldn't have dumped so many hours into it. Dragon Age actually would probably be more game played at like 80 hours. But Destiny has sucked up at least several hundred thus far.
Damn.
It's just you play it like 3 or 4 hours a night since September.
Woo.
With entire days devoted to it. Like, it's in that sense, it's like an MMO. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot to. You always have like something just out of your reach to keep going for.
That carrot.
Yeah. And then there's always something to play. And then about when we ran out, coincidentally, that's when an expansion released.
Yeah.
And then we just now cleared through that, and lo and behold, not too long from now, another expansion is going to release.
Yep, in March.
So that's kind of kept us going in that. So I several hundred hours were in that game, and it is really fun. I don't say it was the most fun, but obviously you wouldn't play it as much as I did if it wasn't at least fun.
Going on top of last year, it was really fun, but it wasn't the most fun. The raids in Destiny are one of my favorite experiences as a gamer ever. Like, of everything I've done, like Super Smash Bros, like back on the N64, first time I played Super Mario World, the original Sonic, like first time I played Pokemon, for the Fire Emblem series, the Halo, like, no, not even close to how much fun it was getting through the raids in Destiny. Like, the challenge, the coordination, the teamwork that it requires, the lack of direction, I feel like, is another layer of difficulty that most games don't even think about having. They're like, oh, I need to tell the player what to do, otherwise they'll just complain it's too hard. But Destiny's like, no, it's a raid. We don't tell you what to do. Figure it out. It's like, oh, you did that wrong. Everyone dies. You did that wrong. Everyone dies. So we didn't look up any guides or anything the first time we did the first raid. And so it took us a couple days to get through it. And then, like, when Crota's End came out, the new raid, we looked up a guide on it, and it was like, oh, just cheese it this way, and we beat it in like 2 hours, and we're like, yeah. So we just now are able to go back. Last night we did Vault of Glass on hard and the new raid on normal in a total of like 2.5 hours, which we were really impressed with. I know there's people out there that can do like Crota's End in like 20 minutes. I think the record is like 11 minutes right now. And like we're just really happy to get through that.
We're fairly coordinated.
Yeah.
We're not amazingly coordinated.
The big thing is like we don't all have Vex and Galahorn, like the two best weapons in the game. Like,
okay,
one of us has a Vex, and they weren't even with us last night, and then a couple of people have Galahorn. So it's fun. It's really good. So Jimmy, what is your
most played
game?
That would be surprise, an iOS game. Vainglory. This is my first time ever getting into MOBA, although according to Shane here, it's not really It's like a MOBA Lite.
It's MOBA Lite, yeah. So it is a MOBA, but so if you were to like think about, like, so I played a ton of LoL. Like, I played hours upon hours of League. And if I was to try and imagine what a MOBA would be like Vainglory is slightly better than what I could possibly imagine. So,
well, it's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's about, like, matches go... The quickest one I've ever had is like 15 minutes, and they're usually around 30 minutes. I can sneak it in at work, because honestly I don't do a whole lot.
Except for making a lot of money.
make money and sit at my desk and do this a lot.
No, bro, you don't lie. You have to use 2 hands. Come on, let's be real.
No,
No?
not at all.
Oh. See, I played on my phone. I had to use 2 hands.
Well, no, I mean, I'm playing on my phone too,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not really using 2 hands because I know that's a strategy that players use, and maybe I'm just not that
Strategy of 2 hands?
good. Yeah, like two hands, 2 fingers.
2 hands strategy.
But I just use the one, and
Okay.
then I'm quick. I don't know, it's fun. I really enjoy it. My favorite player is Saw. He's the big guy with the machine gun.
So what type of character do you like to play as? Or is he like a tank? Is he
He's-
an assassin?
He's a tank, and he is a lane player. So I don't know how other MOBAs are set up, but in Vainglory, you've got the lane where that's where it has like the machine guns you've got to beat before you can get to
The towers?
Sure, the towers. See, I don't know anything about it. It just looked like a good game, and I got it, and I like it.
No, it's all good?
So you have the
Right,
towers.
it's interesting to hear like
The
an outside point of view.
Idiot.
No, no.
Describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with
You
that.
got your machine gun towers.
Okay.
And you blow those guys up until you get to the like vein crystal or whatever they want to call
The
it.
Nexus.
I don't think they call it that. I think
Well,
it's the crystal
they
in
It's the
Vainglory.
Nexus.
When that blows up, you win.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, when I played, I really enjoyed playing more bruiser characters. So I don't like tanks at all, but I also don't like dying. So and I love killing people. So it's like I can't play an assassin because they die too much,
Right.
and I can't play a tank because I won't kill anything. So I play bruiser. It's like a happy medium. It's like the guy in the big fight that you can't not kill because they'll kill you, but you also shouldn't focus them because they take so long to kill. Mid-priority target. So yeah, Vainglory, I mean, I keep wanting to pick it up and try it out, but
It's
like
fun.
every time I have free moment, I'm like either on my Vita or my 3DS.
Right, and you probably wouldn't be able to squeeze it in on 15
Yeah, I'd probably do it on
unless you got a good team that can go through it quickly.
Well, I would be on the team, so it wouldn't be a good team. I'd be down there like, I don't know where stuff is.
It's totally a crapshoot of who you
Yeah.
get because again, the ones where I goes 15 minutes. That's where I can focus on like being in the lane and shooting the towers.
Is it iOS exclusive?
I think it might be coming out on Android if it hasn't already.
Because if it does get to Android, like we could all try and play it.
Yeah.
We could do a let's play of just like an overview camera and like all of us playing. That'd be cool. Maybe.
It's a fun game. I enjoy it.
Alright. So, most played. Okay. Yeah, and then my most played is definitely Destiny. Yeah, it just don't stop. There's always that carrot. I'm at the point where I'm like, there's really like 4 more exotics in the game I don't have. I might as well just try and collect the rest. Or guns. 4 more exotic guns that I don't have.
Thank you.
I might as well just try and get the rest of them. So yeah, honorable mention or game of the year? Which one should we do first?
I would say game of the year.
Game of the year?
Kind of ended on an honorable.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'll start this one then, I guess. So I was thinking about it, and I hate to say it, but I really don't have a game of the year because there were a lot of games that were really, really good. But when I think back to previous years of like what got game of the year then, I really don't feel like there was a game that came out in 2014, in my opinion, that deserves like game of the year. Mainly because I didn't play the really big ones. Like I wasn't super into Dragon Age like you were. I enjoyed South Park: Stick of Truth, but I didn't love it. And it was just like Destiny, I guess, would be my game of the year. But there's just so many flaws on it, and there's so many things that could be so much better that just aren't. And you hear how much money they made, and you look at the caliber of team that Bungie is, and you're like, there's no reason why you can't do these things. You're just not doing them. You're making a conscious decision to not implement like a trade system or to have this currency system that just feels just wrong, and the fact that you have to load into a planet, it takes so long. It's like, that would be it, but it's not quite there. I really enjoyed Far Cry 4. I really enjoyed Shadow of Mordor. I'm playing a new Pokemon game. Rogue Legacy was great. I got Master Chief Collection. That was really fun, but it just...
Well, it's not a new thing.
It's not a new thing, but
I know.
yeah, I mean, I would still put it in like with games that came out this year. But the fact that they didn't HDify Halo 3 really broke my heart. Because like they have Halo 1 Anniversary, which is the completely remade Halo 1. And they have Halo 2 Anniversary, which is the completely remade Halo 2. And Halo 4 basically looks like an Xbox One game, so that doesn't need to be touched. So now you have these 3 games that look really great, and Halo 3, which is also on there, which looks exactly like Halo 3. Like, they increased the resolution and the frame rate, but they didn't really touch anything else. And it's like, it just felt lazy to me. Like, Halo 3 was my favorite Halo, so I'm a little biased. Like, if it would have been Halo 2 instead of Halo 3, I wouldn't have made such a big deal. But I was disappointed in the fact that the multiplayer, like, doesn't work. And when I played Halo, like, the main thing I played was team doubles, and that's not even in the game yet. And it's just like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Halo 5 beta was absolutely amazing. I was really impressed with that, but I was just disappointed with a lot of games that came out this year. So a lot of things were really good, but I feel like everyone's trying to get their hang of the new gen consoles.
Yeah.
So really just excited for what comes out next year. Or this year now.
Yeah, it is 2015.
Yep. Alright, Jimmy, game of the year.
That would be probably the game I've talked most about on this show. Oh, sorry, I just totally blanked on it for a second. I got it. Sorry. Hearthstone. It's been a while since I've played it because I've been playing more Vainglory because that's also easy to play at work instead of whipping out my iPad and playing that when I'm supposed to be working.
I really wish it would come to iPhone. There's a lot of rumors.
Well,
and, like,
now with iPhone 6 Plus, like it would work really well. Even on a 6.
The second it comes out to 6 Plus, I'm going to be on the bandwagon with you.
Yeah.
I'm playing it a lot.
But yeah, I played that a lot this year, and was a lot of fun. I haven't played it recently, so I haven't picked up on some of the expansions they put in there, but that's the only like digital card game I've gotten into, and I think this says a lot for those kind of games, because there's stuff that you do in that game that you can't do in any other traditional card game because it's a video game.
Yeah.
You can have one card become like 5 cards. You can't do that.
I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh, like, you would have tokens, which you'd put quarters on the thing. But question for you, did you play, like, Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid? So this is, like, your first trading card game
Yep.
that you played. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was
I wouldn't think that, like, that would get, like, what made you try it out?
Blizzard. The fact that it's got that pedigree behind it. And it's like, I played a little bit of World of Warcraft years and years and years ago. I played Warcraft growing up, so it was like I kind of know the gist of these characters. I know there's a lot of inside stuff, but people were really into World of Warcraft, which is cool. But
yeah,
I'm not one of them. It's a fun game, and it does speak a lot to it. I'm not a trading card game player. I'm not a huge Blizzard enthusiast. I've never gotten StarCraft. Again, a little bit of World of Warcraft a long time ago. And it was like, oh, well, Blizzard made this, I've heard good things, let me try it. Oh, this is really fun. This is taking up too much of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be my game of the year.
Okay. Cool. Lucas?
So, mine's Dragon Age. I've mentioned before a couple of times, I'm a rather large fan of BioWare. Really? So this doesn't come as too much of a surprise to anybody.
I'm shocked.
Even who kind of knows me, if you know me. And I also should say that I probably vote that to be the most fun as well. However, the rules say I can't.
I put a rule out saying it couldn't fall in 2 categories at the same time. I was actually surprised to hear you say that Dragon Age would be your most fun as well as Game of the Year. I don't know. I just feel like... Because, like, Last of Us was my Game of the Year for 2013. But by no... That was not the most fun I had had.
Unless you think inducing a stroke is the most fun thing to do. No.
Yeah, because that was the thing, is like I really enjoyed it, and it was an amazing game, and I thought it was the best game that I played, but it wasn't the most fun. So I was really
well, and also it's worth mentioning, when you say Game of the Year, do you mean one that I thought was the best of all the ones that I played, or the one that is most deserving of all the games that come out this year?
No, just
like as a technical thing.
Would be your Game of the Year. So what do you think out of all the games you played this year was the best game that you played?
That would be Dragon Age.
Okay.
That it's a very, very large game, which I'm pretty sure every BioWare game is a large one, but this one...
I didn't feel like Mass Effect was that big.
Well, I mean, it's like 30 hours.
Well, I meant like stuff.
Oh no, I meant
place
like,
to go.
Like lengthwise. So
okay.
Stuff to do, most Bioware games are like in the 30 to 40 hour
Yeah.
of like new content. This game came. I have 80 hours into that game when I beat it, and there was a lot of content I could not get to because I was over leveled. Like they purposely put too much stuff for you to do, so you have to pick a few things, and then when you go through it again, then you get to do all the stuff you didn't do before. Like there's a ton of content, and if you want 100% the game, it's like 150 hours, something ridiculous. Like they put so much stuff to do in that game.
That's ridiculous.
And it's just a really, really good evolution of the series.
Mm-hmm.
One was amazing, but most people that like RPGs are going to say it's amazing. 2 has a bad rep.
Yeah, I remember talking to you and a couple other people, and they were like, Dragon Age 2 didn't happen. That wasn't a game that came out. I feel like it's the same thought process like behind Assassin's Creed 2. Everyone's just like, nope, that wasn't
2? No, 2 was like a significant improvement over 1.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That was... 1 is kind of how we talk about that. Like, 1 was
maybe
very
that's what I'm
good.
thinking.
Like, it was a good prototype, and then 2 was like, here's what we can do with it. Anyway, so 2, I don't think it's as bad as people say, but it is indeed the weaker of the 3. I liked what they tried to do with a few things in it, but it just didn't work out overall. And then in Inquisition, they just, I swear, they thought, okay, what is all the things people did not like about 2, and what's all the things I liked about 1? And let's combine those and make 3. Like, it's a huge, it's pseudo-open world, and it's got the same combat style that 2, that was one thing it did well. And then it's got the usual Bioware pedigree of doing characters well and a good story overall. And I don't know, I just, like, when that came out, I stopped everything. Like, I stopped doing every other game and everything I was in. Nothing else mattered if I wasn't at work, unless I was playing that game. You know, tested that. I just stopped Destiny. Like, I was into Destiny. Like, I'm not where I am now, where I'm kind of backing off Destiny. No, I was really into Destiny, and then that game came out and stuff. Like, I had to play that game through and through. So, I would say that one for both Game of the Year, because of all that it accomplished, and then it was definitely the most fun, the most you got engrossed in a game this year.
Okay. One last category, which is honorable mention. So what game doesn't fit any of these categories, but you would lose sleep tonight if you didn't mention it?
I don't know if I'd lose sleep, but I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
For me, another iOS game, Threes.
Yeah.
Really, really well designed. Are you familiar with Threes?
I'm not sure what any of them.
Threes is a kind of like a number matching game.
It was like the first big number matching game.
Right.
Yeah, they're everywhere. But
right, and there are a lot of knockoffs of it.
Yeah, 2048 is like the cheap version of 3.
Right. But Threes is really well designed. You've got to swipe in directions to get a 1 and a 2 can go together. That makes a 3. Then 2 3s can go together. That makes a 6. 2 6s can go together, and so on. And you can get to a point where you can't make any more moves, and then you're done. And that, when I was still working retail and taking Bart in the work, it was like that was my perfect Bart game, just sitting there and swiping my thumb, going over and over again. And I'll still go back to that game when I don't have 30 minutes to play for Vainglory or don't want to pull up my iPad to play anything. It's like, oh, that's a real quick one.
Just play that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Lucas?
I think mine would probably be Far Cry 4. Just because it was really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
The ending seemed rushed, so that was a big part that kind of held me back. But it's more of 3. Essentially, they got Far Cry 3, and then they put you in a different area, and then expanded upon it.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, because 3 was really good. So I would say that there's a few things that were holding it back from most fun, and several things holding it back from Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely one of my most fun games that I've played this year. So I would say that one.
Honorable mention, I feel like South Park, Stick of Truth.
Did that come out this year?
It did?
That came out 2014, February. I think it was February. Yeah, super early. And that's kind of why I phrased this topic the way that I did, like, game that needs to be mentioned. Like, that game was outstanding.
Hilarious.
It was hilarious. I compare it with Borderlands as far as humor, because we laughed a ton during Borderlands. It was really good, and like the RPG elements to it were also really good and in depth. Like that's what surprised me more than anything. Like I expected it to be really funny and like have a lot of tie-ins to the show, but it was also a really good game. Like it could have not been South Park based at all and would have been a good turn-based like RPG. So I was impressed with that. So yeah, that would be my honorable mention.
Nice.
Alright guys, well those are our choices. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter @TheAnomaly.
I'm at Jimmy Radcliffe.
Psh, I ain't got no Twitter.
He ain't got no Twitter. He
Whatever.
ain't got no Twitter.
Too cool for
Ain't got
Twitter.
time for
It's
that.
true. It's true. All right, well, thanks. And I think there's also a video that we forgot to post, and by we I mean I, that we're gonna throw up as well here pretty soon. And let us know what you guys think would be good topics for the next show.